Hello, Exile, and welcome back to Before You Buy. We're picking up our series right after Christmas. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday. Let me know how you did. I got drunk and baked lasagna for like 20 people. Anyway, we're moving on. Annihilator. We're going to talk about Annihilator today. You know, prior to this set's release, me and all of my friends pretty much agreed that we expected this to be the final tier pack of the series. And looking at it, can you blame us? It's the only set to receive a universal weapon, alternate gloves. It was one of only 2 helm attachments in the series. And it's the set with like the token celestial theme. Annihilator has a lot going for it. And considering what you usually get in a supporter pack of this tier, it's hilariously mispriced. But that's great for us. And I know quite a few people that will be happy to be able to snag this without being forced to get Ravager if they don't want to. Now, as far as the armor set goes, it's actually quite refreshingly simple. Now, while the GGG previews make it look like a traditional red, it actually appears a bit closer to magenta in-game. It's a little bit more pinkish. And with the inclusion of alt gloves, you can completely forego the celestial theme if you think that's a bit too gaudy and go for something regal, if you like. One thing to note, this core set has quite a bit of difference between the classes, with the female classes featuring sharper, more angled shoulders and a different chest plate, while the male chest is more bulky and rounded at the top. And this is all well and good and fine, and those are some cool differences, but the rounded shoulders mean that this set melts on the Templar model. It's terrible. Why do they got to do my boy like this? Now, the weapon and the weapon effect are standout pieces here. I mentioned that this is the only universal weapon in this series of sets, but it's universal on a technicality because it kind of cheats by using the dagger for both the dagger and the wand, and there's no quiver this time included. But I mean, for the most part, it is universal. It's nice that someone in GGG finally remembered that staffs are indeed a weapon type and gave us one here. And I'm glad that they did because it's far and away, I think, the best weapon model that this weapon has. And honestly, it's probably the main reason I'd consider using this. Like all supporter packs, these are premium weapons, and they will apply to both hands should you have the correct base types equipped. Now, the weapon effect is very Twilight-esque themed, but it features a neat, like, corona effect that outlines the geometry of the weapon that it's on in orange. This is cool. This is a really, really sweet effect. It feels fancy, even for something that's like celestial. It feels really, really cool. However, the weapon that it's on doesn't really matter too much because it blots out everything. So just, pick a shape that you like and throw this on. You're good to go. Now, as far as this set's combo potential goes, it can go 2 ways. As in, do I want to bury myself in as much celestial stuff as my eyes can possibly handle? If yes, well, then there's a never-ending array of sets and wings and character effects that can all be swapped in and out with both the base armor and the wings to create varied, but ultimately very similar looks. And I mean, it really comes down to just like what shape and how bright you want your stars to be in. Some notable things include Twilight, Nightfall, the gold character effect as requested, Dark Prism, Sunrise, Necrolord, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. But it all works. Now, if that's not your thing, and you do want something a bit more visually quiet, you might try something like Assassin for a bit of contrast, or Vanguard. Or if you don't have Vanguard, maybe like one of the Seraph attachments. These are a closer match to the set's natural color palette, and they help to reinforce the regal look that it has. Now, something that a friend requested that I show was a mix of last year's Breach Core and this year's Annihilator, and this is what I came up with that I thought I liked. The gloves and the attachment make for nice highlights on the Breach set, while not deviating from the original theme too much. So what's the final verdict on Annihilator? Well, the base armor is good, it's flexible, as long as you don't play Templar. The pack contents are quite undervalued at the tier that they're at, so it's a deal. The weapon is incredible, and I think the wings are tacky. I think if I had something to criticize about this pack, I'd think the wings are just mediocre, and not something I'd really consider using in lieu of like other celestial options that I have that I just feel are better. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next episode.